Welcome to Dodo Real Estate View. I'd like to thank the viewers for their topics that they have given us every month and for the questions that they've presented. This month, we've gotten an overwhelming response for people seeing it being winter to help in assisting at having their home energy efficient. And we've invited back Mass Save, and we have Eileen Barrett here, who is from Rice, who is a supervisor and engineer from the engineering company there. And I'd like to welcome you, Eileen.
Thank you. Hi, Connie.
Yeah, thank you for coming. People always have an interest in how they can obviously save money
True.
and be efficient for, for many reasons, for the green purpose, to make sure that we save our earth and for dollar saving. So I guess one question that I have is, what is Rice Energy? What do they do? Engineering.
That's great.
Right.
I'm with Rise Engineering. We're a one-stop energy services provider for utility-sponsored energy conservation programs. And so a utility like Columbia Gas contracted us to provide energy evaluation services for homeowners, businesses, commercial properties, multifamily properties, where we do a full assessment and outline what can be done, and then match up with incentives and utility-sponsored rebates so that that person can move forward with the energy conservation plan.
I mean, you talk about doing a plan. What actually goes into an audit, or when you go out there?
Oh, sure. I work within the residential division, so I'll speak clearer about that. We do a full house assessment. It's more of a holistic approach, in that we're doing a top to bottom assessment for the insulation levels. Think about it this way. Energy conservation is really a three-pronged stool, and the first prong on that stool is the house envelope, the insulation, the windows, the doors, everything that's holding in the heat. The second prong to that stool, and all of these we assess, the second prong is the mechanical, so the heating system, the hot water heater, the refrigerators, the appliances, that's an important component. And then the third leg that really stabilizes that wobbly stool is the behavior of the occupants, and that really makes a big impact on those other two legs in the stool. And so we're assessing all of that together and finding out what the homeowners' concerns are, what their, when you talked in the beginning about saving energy and being green, there's also being comfortable. And so the behavior, we're looking at how people are, where they're uncomfortable, where they'd like to be more comfortable in their homes. So it is a full approach.
I mean, I think it's important the way that you displayed the three different approaches. If there's somebody in their home currently, before obviously they'd get you involved, what are some things that they can do on their own to be more efficient?
As far as that behavioral leg, there's a big, one of the things we see a lot of is homes that have multiple refrigerators. And really, like, behaviorally, you want to step back and kind of look at that and say, why do I have that secondary fridge? And when you think about that, it's costing about an average of $10 to $30 a month, depending upon the refrigerator. Are you actually saving that amount on your fuel bill when you're buying on sale meats and putting them in that freezer? What's the value to that? And maybe just unplugging it for the months that you don't need it. Plug it in only during the 4th of July when all the family's there in the Christmas time, and save on the electric bill right then and there.
I mean, a big thing, what is Mass Save program? I mean, I know we talk about and how the interaction with Rise, your company, but what is it?
Oh, good question. Mass Save is an initiative that pulls together all the utilities, electric and gas, and they come together and work with the Department of Energy Resources in coming up with a plan for helping businesses and homeowners save energy. They work with the Department of Energy Resources to figure out what rebates to apply, what incentives to offer, loans that are available, 0% loans for financing energy improvements. So it's more of it's an initiative to help all of Massachusetts.
Now, how is it funded? That's a question that you say, okay, money's coming from somewhere.
Yep, it does come from somewhere. When you look at your own utility bill, you'll see a conservation credit that goes, a portion of your bill is actually put into a fund that goes and offsets the expense of the energy services that are being provided. So everybody's contributed to it on their bill, and that's where it is.
Wow. Is there a long waiting period to get somebody to come out to your home or business?
Well, it's getting cold, and so we do have a lot of calls right now. So you can expect, if you called in or emailed in a request to have an inspection done, anywhere from about three to 5 weeks time before the energy inspection could be scheduled. And it's dependent upon the person's schedule as well as our scheduling.
Is there a income? Is it based upon certain income levels or any criteria to being able to have an audit done?
Everybody is eligible for one, and it's free. It is a free evaluation. If a homeowner is being is taking advantage of income available rates through their utility, there are other programs that will better serve their needs as far as getting free. Energy conservation, weatherization improvements. When you work through the programs, through the Mass Save program, you get 75% contributed, an incentive towards the weatherization up to $2,000, and an additional $600 towards the air sealing, the tightening up of their home. So total $2,600.
Yeah. Now, who actually goes out and does the audit?
My team.
Okay, and what's the team consist of? I'm curious to see what the configuration is.
Sure. There's a home energy specialist would come out to your home and assess the property, show up in the truck with the infrared camera, a blower door to pressurize the house and find out how airtight it is. They're going to climb into the attics, all the attics, poke around, figure out what's up there, what may be contributing as well to in the building structure that may be leaking air through it underneath the insulation. They're going to assess the heating system. They're going to check for carbon monoxide. They're going to check for proper exhaust on the chimney for the boiler and the heating system and the water heater.
You bring up a good point about carbon monoxide. Say if they went into a home and they found that it was very high, what course of action would be taken at that point?
What they're measuring is the carbon monoxide in the ambient air, and then they're also finding out inside the combustion systems, whether it's the flue for the heating system or the water heater. If that's at an elevated level, they'll make recommendations as to what needs to be done next, whether it needs to be serviced to bring that carbon monoxide level down.
Obviously, that's not a safe thing to have carbon monoxide high, so I'm sure it's an issue that needs to be addressed right away.
Before any weatherization work can occur in the home. Columbia Gas also has a wonderful pre-weatherization barrier incentive through the Mass Save program. So if a home is found to have high elevated levels of carbon monoxide, the steps that homeowner needs to take to bring it down, they can get up to $250 rebate off their cost of the weatherization for having serviced that piece of equipment that needed servicing.
That's great, yeah, and I mean, in this weather, with the snow and so forth, people really need to have their carbon monoxide and smoke detectors. I mean, I can't preface that enough. I mean, that's really important. But to get back to this, I mean, I think in terms of identifying issues that need to be done, who actually does the work?
The energy specialist will put together a full action plan for the homeowner, outlining everything that could be done, what's found, what it would cost to get the next step done, what the utility will contribute towards that as an incentive, what the final cost and the savings are to the homeowner, so they can value it up and figure out what that homeowner wants to do next. If the homeowner decides to go forward, they can use from a list of contractors that are approved through the Columbia Gas program in this instance. They've been vetted for their insurance and all their licensing. They can choose them, or they can work directly through a company like Rise Engineering, where we would supervise that contractor from the same list of contractors and follow that project from start to finish and make certain that it's the weatherization work is done right. And
once it's completed, if you didn't supervise it through the process, would you go back and check it, or?
We're there on site when the crews start.
Really, on all of them?
And then,
wow.
And then we try to get to them all. We have a 50% inspection rate that we want to get to. We're at 100%. It just nature of how we're working. Also, at the end of it, we'll go back out and assess it and make certain that you, the homeowner, are comfortable with the work that was taken care of.
Now, could you have your own installer or a person do the work, contractor?
They wouldn't. It would preclude you getting the incentive.
Okay.
The incentive needs to go through qualified, licensed contractors who.
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I mean, that's a pretty hefty job for your team or teams, there must be more than one team,
There
to
are.
be out there to oversee the process and check it to make sure it's running in the direction it should. That's a large undertaking.
Well, there are the energy specialists who are out doing the initial assessment, there are inspectors who are doing the follow-through, and there is certainly a lot of administrative support as
Wow,
well.
yeah, how many inspections happen a year? How many did you do last year?
We work with a variety of different utility programs, so we'll expect to do in a 12-year period for Columbia Gas, we'll do about 8,000 audits.
In a 12-month?
In a 12-month period.
But yeah, okay. Yeah, wow. That's a lot.
It
That's
is.
a lot of people, but I
Think
mean.
about houses.
Right, so has Columbia Gas or Mass Save seen a decrease in utilization of energy that's been expended over the years? Has it decreased over the number of years that it's been out there? I mean, are there statistics on that?
There are statistics. They're kind of interesting. This all began back in 1977 when Jimmy Carter was president. That's when the energy conservation programs began. We didn't even have a Department of Energy back then. It was at his fireside chat that it became.
We had pursued it, right?
Right. That suddenly we had an energy policy.
Right.
And the main. The main part of his program that he developed in 1977, his emphasis was on energy conservation. It wasn't about renewables and all the other programs that he was developing. The linchpin was going to be energy conservation. And what was very interesting, what he said too at the time, is that it was going to create hundreds of thousands of new jobs, and it really did. And then along the way, it saved energy. It did everything
Twofold,
that he wanted.
right.
And so when you're asked about, well, how is the savings happening? Well, in the past 30 years, there's been a tremendous savings that has occurred in household per capita energy consumption, but we've maintained a level plateau throughout because of the fact that our population is increasing, and then we have more electronic devices in our home. So whereas we were going down with Energy Star standards and with insulation standards that have increased, lowering our energy consumption, we're also building bigger homes, and so we're still at a plateau.
And everybody has the computers and laptops and phones and
we didn't have
everything
all that, just on your TV console alone, all the different plugins.
Right. You know, you talked about Energy Star, energy efficient appliances and so forth. Let's talk a bit about that. I mean, you always hear that, it's Energy Star or energy whatever when you go to look at things. Thoughts on that?
Definitely. I mean, even if you haven't made the investment to an Energy Star device, you can purchase and through the utilities, they're free on site when we come out and do the inspection. But smart strips, they're like power strips that you plug all your devices into. It has a master plug on it, so that if you turn the TV off, all the subsidiary ones will turn off, and so the phantom juice that's being drained down on the electrical will shut off as well. So it's even if some of those appliances aren't Energy Star, it's going to help them by killing them completely.
Wow, that's amazing. Be curious to see, and there may be studies out on it, just to see the average household, depending on the age groups, of how the energy is utilized. I'm sure there are studies out there with all the,
analysts.
I mean, it's just probably endless with that, but just to see the usage of with all the new technology, I mean, it's like incredible. Like I said, in '77, who heard of the iPads, the phone? I mean, just too many things to.
I don't know if they had answering machines back then.
Exactly. Right. Again, how long would it take to have somebody come out and look at your home? If you had somebody in a residential home, say it was 7 rooms, 4 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, how long would that take, the process, while they're actually in your home?
Oh, good question. Typically what we tell homeowners is to prepare for a 2-hour visit with that analyst who's coming out to the house to put together a full analysis on the house. They're going to survey the house from top to bottom, looking in the attics, looking at the heating system, putting together a full report and outlining it all and explaining it thoroughly. So about 2 hours is the average time.
2 hours, wow. Are there any tax benefits?
You can certainly turn to MassSave and EnergyStar.gov and find benefits towards doing that. As far as for the direct weatherization through our services, we don't get involved in that, but certainly it's something to bring up with your tax advisor.
So the max is 2,000, you said?
$2,600 each home.
Each home. How about for commercial? And I know you do mainly residential, but,
And I wish I knew that number for you.
Okay.
The programs are different, and I kind of work in my silo.
yeah. No, which I understand. Actually, I had it done at my office,
Oh,
which
good.
was interesting, so I should know what the max was. And
Yes, Connie.
they were quite thorough, I have to say. They went
Nice.
through and looked at all the systems. You know, they changed all the light bulbs.
Right.
And there's a number of light bulbs there. And one thing that they had said that I should have, and I did do it, I pursued it, is the insulation. More insulation in the attic, so we did do that. And we did see a cost savings on our heating and air conditioning.
Nice.
Because of that, so that was good. And again, I don't remember what the cost was that I had, that they contributed to.
Good.
You know, I've heard of some people that have had some windows put in and some heating systems
Right.
through the program, which, and I don't know if they got some monies from the gas company directly in addition to Mass Save.
The gas networks has
Okay.
has a very healthy rebate program to enable a homeowner or a business to advance their heating system into the 21st century as far as technology. Same with their water heater, and then they can finance the difference at a 0% loan. Same with their windows and doors.
That's right, with the zero, another customer had told me that they had them come out and they didn't have to pay 0%, which was wonderful. So it allows people
free money.
to put, it was a two-family house, they put in 2 heating systems, which was, you know, to bring it, like you said, up to the standard and
Right.
be more cost-effective. So any other things that you'd like to get out to the public? You know, before we wrap up, I want people to know where to be able to get in touch with you and how to do that.
Well, and what